Can Kalista get rid of Taric and the unit he's protecting? Does Def's Defiance help you to stack Titan's Resolve faster? And does Aatrox passive take priority over Bel'Veth? Welcome to the 6th episode of the TFT Mythbuster series for set 9. Let's get started. At this point, I feel like I could write a whole book about Kalista and her weird interactions, because she seems to be a permanent guest in the Mythbuster series. The first myth states, if Kalista rents a target that is protected by Taric, she can kill both of them. It's an interesting topic to investigate. As you know, if Taric casts his ability, all the damage in the area is redirected onto him. As we saw in the previous Mythbuster, a Jhin was able to deal damage to Taric through the shield, so it stands to reason that Kalista is able to do something similar. We have to go over a few different fights to get a clear idea of what exactly is happening. In our first fight, we have a Kalista with 2 Rabadons and Maokai as her main target. Taric is kept in the second row, and he will time his ult around the time Kalista would be able to kill the Maokai. She uses her rend when the timer hits 16 seconds, and Taric manages to survive the burst thanks to his shield. Maokai is visually still impaled by a lot of spears, but those spears don't seem to do anything. She needs 11 more spears to deal 633 damage to finally finish him off. This fight tells us that Kalista is capable of killing Taric, but when she doesn't have enough damage, the spears on Maokai are lost. If we repeat the same setup with a much stronger Kalista, this becomes even more apparent. In this setup, Kalista 3-star is easily able to get rid of Taric, but she still resets her spears on Maokai. She has to start from 0 and can't take him with her right away. Based on this result, the myth would be busted. But there's one more thing I would like to try. In our last fight, we will repeat the same setup, except we add another Kalista. This time we try to make use of the double rend mechanic that I explained in my Kalista video. When the timer hits 20 seconds, they accumulated enough spears. Taric's shield gets broken and he dies to 731 true damage. After one more attack on Maokai, we see another rend for 854 true damage, and Maokai this time is taken down as well. So Kalista can kill Taric through the shield, and it is possible for the spears to remain, but only with the help of a second Kalista. However, the initial myth was about Kalista being able to kill both of them in one rend, which is not possible. Our next myth is something I saw on Reddit. Meow the Mixer made an interesting post about an interaction between Def's Defiance and Titan's Resolve. This looked very promising, but as always, I want to confirm this myself and have visual proof. The myth states, Def's Defiance will make Titan's Resolve stack faster. The setup is thankfully extremely simple. All we need is to compare the time it takes for Titan's Resolve to stack in an identical fight. In the first fight, you can see a Rek'Sai with a Titan's Resolve against a Warwick and a Jhin. Both of them will only attack, so they should always generate the same amount of stacks. When the timer hits 17 seconds, the Titan's Resolve on Rek'Sai is fully stacked. Now all we have to do is repeat the same fight, but this time give Rek'Sai a Def's Defiance. It doesn't take long to notice that the item is stacking much faster, and in fact once the timer hits 24 seconds, it already gathered the maximum amount of stacks. So what exactly is happening here? Every time the holder of Def's Defiance takes damage, part of this damage is being applied as a damage over time effect. This dot deals true damage, so it's extremely easy to spot in the damage statistic, since the enemy units don't have anything in their kit that would make them deal true damage. This trick is especially useful to stack Titan's Resolve without having to isolate your units, or simply a convenient way to gain the 35 stacks from the augment Gargantuan Resolve way faster. For our last myth, let's take a closer look at my favorite and least favorite unit in set 9, Bel'Veth and Aatrox. The Darken trait from Aatrox allows him to possess a unit, granting them HP and Omniwamp. If they are possessed long enough, then Aatrox is also able to return to the fight once that unit is taken down. The myth states, a unit possessed by Aatrox does not spawn a coral for Bel'Veth's passive. The coral is the Zerg-like animation you can see on the floor when Bel'Veth gets credit for taking down a unit. She will teleport to these corals and grant herself HP for the first kill and heal herself for every consecutive kill. In this fight, Bel'Veth starts by taking down the enemy Aatrox in front of her. She then teleports to the first coral and continues the fight. We can see that Swain gets possessed by Aatrox, and the red circle under him tells us when Aatrox is ready to revive. It takes Bel'Veth a little while to kill Swain, and once she finally gets him, Aatrox will revive, but there is no Bel'Veth passive to be seen. The same will happen to Orianna later on, so this does seem to be a consistent interaction. Aatrox is in fact capable of denying Bel'Veth her passive. 3 more myths down and many more to go. As you might have noticed, these videos are a lot of work, so if you want to support this channel, why not subscribe and in return learn a lot more about in-depth strategies for TFT. I hope you learned something and see you next time.